I am so sorry I held off on recording this one. There's a reason for this, though. I know I needed a lot of energy to record this review for Weekend Cartoon Reviews. As you know, by the title, we're reviewing Lonely Castle in the Mirror. It's an anime movie that came out a month ago, and you're gonna see why I needed a lot of energy, because this review's about to have two different tones. So, what is Lonely Castle in the Mirror about? Lonely Castle in the Mirror is about a girl named Kuroko, who gets transported by a mirror. Like, she sees a glow in the mirror and then gets transported to another world where there's like a little Red Riding Hood lady who looks like a wolf, I guess. I'm not sure. And she's looks like she's going to be the antagonist of the movie, but she's really not, and she's just the caretaker of the castle, where 6 other kids also get transported to the world. Basically, what happens is, from 9 to 5 every day up until March 30th, they're able to stay inside the castle and have fun, interact, but, however, if they go home, like, they have to go home before 5 o'clock, or else a wolf will get eaten by all of them. However, their goal is to find a key that would grant them one wish, and only one of the kids can find it. I kind of forgot all the other characters' names aside from Kuroko, because she's the main character, obviously, and the wolf calls them all her little Red Riding Hoods, and I mean, everything in the movie's pretty good. I like the interactions, I like the setup, the stakes are just right. Everything seems perfectly fine, right? Everything's good. So basically, yeah, that's kind of the plot of the movie. And I was entertained the whole time for the most part. Like, at least the first 2 acts, I was very, very, very entertained by it. And it was setting up to be a pretty decent movie that I thought was cute. And yeah, it had that vibe going for it. Like, I mean, it's not anything Studio Ghibli awesome or anything like that. I wouldn't say that to describe the first 2 acts, but, like, also the girl, like, I think all the kids have some problem with them that connected, and which is why they were chosen to go to the castle. I think because, like, I remember Kuroko gets bullied at a portion of the movie, and people were, outside her house. I'm not too sure about that part. Like, I think I remember that happening, but I forget if, like, all the kids had other connections. Because, like, the other kids, like, well, they're not bad characters or anything. They're kind of forgettable. Like, I don't remember a single one of those kids' names by the end of the movie, except for Kuroko, because she's the main character. Now, on to the ending of the movie. Like, it was obvious Kuroko was gonna win the wish, right? But here's where my problem with this movie comes in. Okay, so, one of the kids disobeys the rule that to go home by 5. All the kids get stuck back into the world, and some North Korea shit happens where not only she gets punished, but the rest of the kids inside the castle that day also get punished. But Kuroko wasn't punished because she didn't enter the castle at all that day. Anyways, which I feel like it's kind of a contrivance, but it's whatever. That's just minor nitpick at very most. Then basically the wolf comes and yeah, the wolf eats them all. But then, oh boy, here's where my problems for this movie begin. Like, you'd think, okay, they're eaten. But then, there was a Disney-ass ending! I've expressed how much I hated the ending to this movie. Because, like, it just throws all stakes out the window. Because, like, she could wish for anything. There was no rules. Like, nothing said she could wish for more wishes. Like, the more I thought about it, the more I realized the flaws of this movie. Because, like, nobody fucking said that she couldn't wish for more wishes. At least from what I remember, there was no line in the dialogue. Because at least with Aladdin, there were rules to how the genie was. And even though there were 3 wishes there were still rules to the wishes. Which is why it works. But here, there's just no rules, so she could have wished for more wishes. Like, thankfully, Kuroko didn't use it for anything selfish. In fact, she used the wish to bring everybody back to life and everything back to the way it was. Which is what kind of annoyed me, because there should have been some rules there, because, like, it was very obvious what the wish was gonna be afterwards. And, like, when I saw it unfold, I was like, oh boy. Like, at first she was gonna use it to, like, stop herself from getting bullied. But, I mean, it is good that she did wish for everybody back to life, but come on, you're really gonna have a predictable ending like that? It throws all stakes out the door that this movie ever had, and yeah. Honestly, I feel like the film would have been a bit more interesting if, like, the caretaker of the house was a villain of the movie. I feel like it would have been a bit better. The movie would have definitely benefited off that, kind of like with Suzume, where the cat was kind of the villain in the first two halves of the movie. Here, I feel like they could have really used a villain with this. Like, the caretaker, like, seemed like she was gonna be the antagonist, and I mean, I was wrong. She calls all the kids in the house, all seven of the kids in the house, her little Red Riding Hoods, which is good, because, like, I don't know why I have this movie rent-free in my brain, for the most part. It's just because, like, I guess the Disney ass ending really pissed me off. Because, like, it was setting up to be a great movie. But then, out of nowhere, the Disney ass ending. Well, I mean, not really out of nowhere, but it's just, come on. There's really nothing else I could say to that. Like, ugh, ugh. But overall, though, did I think the movie was horrible? No. The movie's not horrible by any means, and it's definitely not one of the worst movies I've ever watched this year. Like, while watching Ruby Gillman, funny enough, I was debating, is this worse than Ruby Gillman or is this better? Then I realized Lonely Castle has some strengths over Ruby Gillman, where Ruby Gillman's story was just kind of predictable and a bit overplayed. Like, I mean, Ruby Gillman had some good aspects to it, like its characters and animation, but with Lonely Castle in the Mirror, its characters were pretty strong, even though I kind of forgot most of their names. And its animation, well, Ruby Gillman wins in the animation department, but Lonely Castle also wins in the story department for the most part, aside from the last part of it. Like, if everything building up to that, like, if the kids didn't die, it would have been obvious what the wish was. It wouldn't have been too obvious what the wish was going to be, but you knew exactly where the story was going to go, and it should have ended, like, maybe a minute or two after that scene, or 3 minutes, but no. The story drags out for 10 to 15 minutes, and it almost destroys the world they build in the movie. If it wasn't for, like, a line or two, then yeah, it didn't destroy the world they build. But, like, I remember sitting there being like, oh boy. But yeah, this is a movie that's kind of ruined by its ending. And yeah, I just, Would I watch this movie again? Probably not. Maybe the first two-thirds of it, but yeah, I don't see myself revisiting this anytime soon. But yeah, that's really it. Bye, everyone.